How about now? Can you hear us now?
Oh, we're good. We're,
Okay.
Mr. Clerk. Mr. Clerk, can you hear me?
I can now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Can
can.
you hear me now?
Okay, sorry about the delay.
I'll close my IT support ticket now.
All right, let's call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order at 6:59 PM. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Rounstraw,
Here.
Mylum.
Here.
Cook.
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Nathan Wisniewski. Nathan, if you can come on up.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nathan. Good job, buddy. Please remain standing. Sorry. For a moment of a silent reflection. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to call up Judge Saltarelli and Mr. Adam McNeil to administer the oath of office for city treasurer. Yes, of course.
I think there's some things you should know about Adam first, though. First of all, he's, in my 50 years here in City Hall, he's probably the first CPA serving as treasurer. That's number one. Number two,
Bill was a CPA.
okay, well, Bill, you were, all right, I started the job.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I meant. Number two, there's several questions that Adam always gets asked. First is, are you 7 foot? No, he's 6'12". Number two, do you play basketball? No, he's a gymnast on the pommel horse. And three, he's not the tallest in the room. I am. So now we're gonna start. Raise your right, left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I state your name.
I, Adam J. McNeil,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully perform my duties
that I shall faithfully perform my duties
as treasurer of the city of Tonawanda,
as treasurer of the city of Tonawanda,
that I shall uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I shall uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of New York,
the Constitution of the state of New York,
the ordinances and charter of the city of Tonawanda,
the ordinance and charter of the city of
to
Tonawanda,
the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Adam. Adam. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Adam. What's that? Yes, yes. Okay, at this time, I'll turn it over to the mayor for his Veteran of the Month presentation.
Thank you,
Mayor?
Madam President. This has always been a pleasure of mine to do this. I'd like to thank the council member over here. Thank you for your assistance. We do this every month, second meeting of every month. This month, we're celebrating Alan Williams Senior. Honorably served in our country with the U.S. Army from July 2008 until April of 2018. Alan re-enlisted with the U.S. Army Reserves until July of 2022. As a staff sergeant, he did 2 tours of duty. He also spent 9 years and 4 months in a specialty assignment as a cannon crew member. Alan received the U.S. Army Iraq Campaign Medal with 2 campaign stars, along with the following awards. One is the Army Commendation Achievement and Good Conduct Medal, Army Good Conduct and National Defense Service Medals, Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Development Ribbon, also the Expert Marksmanship Badge with the Rifle Bar, Overseas Service Ribbon and Combat Action Badge. Thank you, Alan, for your service, honorable service to our country, and your commitment to the city of Tonawanda and the community. We wish you all the best in your future plans to travel all around the world. Come on up, Alan. Thank you for your service, and I always say welcome home, always. Here's a copy for you. This is signed by myself and the council president. And this is a certificate just saying thank you for your service to our country and to the city of Honolulu. Please put this up here. One copy will go to you. You can keep in this folder. The other one is to be in front. When you come in the main entrance, we celebrate our service person of the month. On the right-hand side, you'll be up there all month. So we thank you again. So you show this to, here we go. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Congratulations. It's our honor. There you go.
I'm humbled. Thank you. I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, but I'm humbled. I don't feel worthy for a lot of veterans that out there need help beside me. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. There are a few amendments to the agenda this evening. Resolution number 6 says, should read, whereas the title of this resolution and ordinance has been published at least once in a newspaper of general circulation, more specifically on February 6th of 2024. And resolution number 7 shall also read, whereas the title of this resolution and ordinance has been published at least once in a newspaper of general circulation, more specifically on February 6th, 2024. On your agenda, resolution number 9 is resolution number 8. And resolution 8 is resolution 9. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. If you're joining us in person, please approach the microphone. If you're joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand and our city clerk will call upon you. Mr. Clerk, we have an individual speaking on the floor.
Matthew Schultz, 177 Gibson Street. In regards to resolution 6. So we bought Gibson Street a few years, about 18 months ago. We lived there. We know the school's going to be there. We're excited. We have 2 kids in the school district, and the city hasn't reevaluated what a school zone is in a while. We have 800 kids now in that one big school. Went from 100, probably 200 to 300. Now to 800, all the kids are within a 2-block radius, which is great. We live there, we have 2 kids in the district, like I said, and we watched it from day one, from the very first day of school in session this at the new school, elementary school, that it's just a mess on Gibson Street from Fletcher all the way down to Moyle. The school has said that there should, in the original drawings, that the doors would be 5 and 1, that they would be entering in. Currently now they open them at door 12 and 25 to let kids in and out every day. With that being said, that creates an issue because the city hasn't looked at the parking and no stopping in regards to both sides of the street. I did go to traffic and safety. I raised this concern. I've taken pictures, videos, because we have a crossing guard right in front of our house. Love her, Pat, give her recognition. And she is there for the kids. Like, she protects the kids all the time. Parents do not respect her. They think that they can stop anywhere. They'll block the street to let their kids out in the middle of the street. They don't respect signs that say do not, no stopping, no standing. They're going to stop and let them out and yell back at the crossing guard. With that being said, also in the beginning of the year, teachers are now parking on all of Gibson. Since we brought this to traffic and safety, which I know has liaisons inside the school, they've kind of slowed that down a little bit. But it's still at least 10 to 15 cars daily that are teachers that park there every single day, taking up valuable spots for neighbors on Gibson Street. I sent you guys the emails. I have also sent a petition. I went and got an old fashioned petition signed by every one of the 9 people here on that street, including myself. I have 4, including myself, here tonight with us. I have 1 who is medically unable to make it, and I have a letter I'd like to read to her after the rest of us talk in regards to the parking issues on Gibson Street. We, as the citizens who live there, pay the taxes and vote for everybody, would like to see no stopping and standing on the school side and 2-hour parking on the citizen side. That's a fair resolution. Because if you look at the high school or the middle school where they have the bus drop off loop that turned into the parent drop off loop, it's the same thing. I know some people are gonna say that we can't monitor 2-hour parking. They don't monitor up at the high school and it still works just fine. It's not an issue. If the school just spent $53 million to build that school, doesn't have enough parking, they have another lot right up on Pine Street that people can walk if they need to. There are also spots because of people from the middle school park at the elementary school and then walk over there, teachers included. That's what I'd like to see made to the changes. Mine is more for the safety of the kids. We do not have a crosswalk down near our area from Moyle to all the way down to Fletcher. There's not a crosswalk there. Pat will stop cars. They cross in front of my house, in my driveway. I don't care about that, honestly. I want kids there. We have kids, there's a playground, there's gonna be kids there year round. They need to be safe though. I propose that also we put a crosswalk from the front yard. I sent you guys all pictures of email of where it could go and should go. And the crossing guard could safely cross everybody. And then also, we would not be liable for people crossing the road from the school or the city unsafely to the playgrounds and the schools. So.
Thank you so much for your comments. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
I'm Barbara Smith. I live at 185 Gibson. Due to the issues as far as parents dropping children off or picking them up, they literally go in my driveway to stop. They stop their cars, they get out of their cars, they walk their children across the road, and it takes them a while to come back. And I was actually in my car waiting to back up, and they were gone. And I got out to literally call them to tell them that they had to move because I had to go. But when you look up and down the street, there's nowhere for them to actually park because the street is totally jammed with cars. There has to be some place for them to go to drop the children off in a safe manner. And as far as the children, they walk up the street from Gibson, from past Moyle. And when they cross, they don't cross up at the crossing guard. They just cross, and a lot of them, I stand there and watch them, a lot of them don't even look either direction. They just cross. So they're not even watching where they're going. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and I don't wanna witness it. And I'm right there, and I see it. I don't wanna witness it.
So thank you, Ms. Smith, for your comments. Mr. Clerk, are there any residents who are joining us virtually that wish to address the council on the resolutions?
Council President, at this time, there's no one signifying they'd like to speak on the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We have a comment on the floor.
My name is Debbie Darling, at 263 Brookside Terrace. It's concerning the rezoning, so I just wanted to bring to the attention, I read through the resolution, and I believe when we last spoke with the building and the developer, that there was going to be some sort of a clause to state that if this does get rezoned, and for some reason their project does not transpire, that it would go back to the original zoning. I don't see that verbiage or the terminology.
Yep, so I can answer that. So we have ordinances in place and we would have a procedure in place. We would be required to have a public hearing for that. So in the event that that were to happen, we would have a public hearing. We'd also need an application from the district to change the rezoning. So there will be a process for that.
So if it would go to be rezoned tonight, and the project wouldn't go through, we'd have to hold another public hearing to go back to the original rezoning that we had.
That's correct, yes. Yes,
So the other thing I want to bring attention to is the resolution. It states that both the structure as it is now, the school, is referenced to a 3-story building, and then the new building would be 3 stories. You're under the assumption that the school is going to be 2 stories and the new building is going to be 3. Am I misinterpreting this?
okay. Mr. Hopkins, do you want to come up? Sure.
So Sean Hopkins, on behalf of the applicant, the members of the project team are here as well. I do want to note that Ms. Darling is correct. We had submitted a letter with a series of concessions we made as a result of the informational meetings in the public hearing held by this council weeks ago. And if you look on what is now resolution number 9 on page 6, in the 4th whereas clause, in addition to said legal requirements stated above, developer has agreed that the maximum building height of buildings as measured to the roof line shall be 35 feet, exclusive of rooftop mechanical equipment and parapets. There shall not be any windows on the 3rd floor of the renovated elementary school building. There will not be a 3rd floor under the current plan. So that whole clause can be crossed out. And on the 3rd, and what does it say on the 3rd floor of the proposed 3-story multifamily building. So you have the language there. You just cross out that several words that will be consistent with the commitment that we made, not only to this council, but the nearby buildings.
Okay.
And I would like the opportunity to get back up.
Yep.
So, and just another thing, I'd like to thank the council for taking the time to investigate all this and realize your decision tonight. It's not an easy one, but I'm please urging you to listen to the voices that were at the last meeting about our concerns. You know, we don't want to see our little neighborhood kind of destroyed by anything. I do appreciate that the builder has made many concessions for us to find the pieces. I do thank them for that as well. So I wish you luck. And please remember the voices that you heard.
Thank you, Mrs. Darling. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Talk about the parking on Gibson Street.
I just need your name and address for the record.
Dan Hall, I'm at 127 Gibson Street. It's easy to find. It's directly across from the dumpsters at the Fletcher School. That's another complaint I have is the dumpsters. I've talked to the superintendent of schools. I've talked to, I believe, this John May, who works for the school itself. And according to John, when they put out the bid for the dumpsters, it was Modern who got the bid. And they're supposed to arrive between 7 and 11 a.m. every morning. And we've kept a record of when they show up every day. And it's generally between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and it wakes you up. I don't know if you've been around when they pick up a dumpster and they drop it back down, but it makes a lot of noise. You can't sleep through it. And we endured the parking before with all the construction, and then this was the last addition to the school, it's the dumpsters. We didn't even know they were going to be there until they located them right across the street from us. But as far as the parking goes too, we haven't been able to park in front of our house for 3 years now. And now it's the teachers that park there every single day. It'd be nice if you could add a 2-hour restriction to the parking, and maybe that would clear it up. I know we're cutting off our nose to spite our face on that, but at least we have some available parking. Right now, we have none. So that's my complaint. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hall. Any other comments on the floor? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Mitchell, 177 Gibson. I have a letter from Mr. and Mrs. Marshall and Byron Coker at 131 Gibson. They're medically unable to attend, so. To the city of Tonawanda council members, for medical reasons, we cannot attend this evening's meeting. We would like to share our thoughts. We endured the building of the new elementary school, the construction workers, the heavy equipment, traffic, and dirt was allowed to put up with for over two years. Thinking was finally completed. We could go back to some kind of normalcy. We live across the street from the school. Living on Gibson Street for 50 years, we've had no idea it was not over. When school started in September 2023, we now had to deal with school employees using the block of Fletcher Street to Moyle on Gibson as their personal parking spaces. I contacted the school superintendent office to voice my concerns. Their reply was still looking into this seriously and would send a memo to their workers. Nothing changed. The same cars parked in front of the house for their work shift every school day. When nothing seems to be happening, I called Madam President Cook to see if she could help. My calls continued to try and change the situation. We met Matt Schultz, a neighbor from down the block, with a petition proposal to limit the parking to 2 hours on the house side of Gibson Street. This solution to our issue is the most reasonable and fair to the residents. The employees do not want to alter their habits when they have a brand new school parking lot they could use. Please take Matt's proposal as the school cannot correct what we deal with every day, every school day. We know it's a city street, but to take advantage of the staff is doing is totally unfair. After what Gibson Street residents have already put up with, the residents need to have a space for visitors and of the homeowner. Please allow this change to take place, as we do not want to let these inconsiderate employees use our street for their personal benefit. The school has a new parking lot and staff shouldn't be using it. Thank you to Matt Shankwell. Good.
Yes, we'll take it. Thank you so much. Any other comments on the floor? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Good evening, I'm Scott Colbert, 318 Wadsworth, in regards to Riverview project. I take it you guys basically R2 is done format. Is he gonna be able to rent to anybody with the R2? There's no restrictions.
Well, let's hear your questions first and then I'll call up Mr. Hopkins.
Riverview project, it's gonna affect our taxes this year, next year? Any of the projects that are coming down?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're gonna affect our taxes next year?
Well,
Well, I hope it'll be on the tax
It's
rolls.
gotta be right.
Tax rolls and.
It's a process. It's a process.
Building would have to be up next February 28th.
There's other
Well,
things too.
they'll pay taxes on that property. I'd have to check with our,
Keep on getting totals,
Yeah.
check, what's the rough estimate?
I will look into what the property is assessed at and what the potential tax implications are with our assessor.
Okay, any protection? Like what we had with David Holmes, Little League, we got an empty street, blocked off. Going on 7 years,
8.
8 years, any resolution to that? Are we gonna have the same with Riverview? Is there any guarantee or not?
I think we got a
So-
builder.
Think we got them, okay,
I do.
do we have the financing in place?
Do they?
Yes.
I think Mr. Hopkins can answer that.
I will call him up at,
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, what is, we're hearing a $3 million deficit for next year?
so your questions are comments on the resolutions.
Good look at that. What they heard. It's done. Somebody can tell us what projected income.
So I will get back to you after I talk to our assessor. Mr. Hopkins, did you want to address?
Sure. For the record, John Hopkins, my address is 5500 Main Street, Suite 343, Williamsville, New York, 14221. So I'm gonna do my best to address the questions that you raised. Number one, what's in front of you tonight are two actions. Consideration of issuing a negative declaration pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and then approving the rezoning of the project site from R1 to R2. I want to make clear to the residents something the Common Council knows very well. This is step one of the review process. So if we're successful in connection with step one, it's a lot of additional hard work that has to occur. We have to retain the services of a licensed engineering firm. They have to prepare fully engineered plans, drainage reports, engineer reports, stormwater pollution prevention plans, downstream sanitary sewer capacity analysis, elevation plans, construction plans, et cetera, et cetera. All that will occur. It will involve a separate additional review process, both for site plan and subdivision approval. It's become very clear throughout this process. You have a neighborhood here where the people truly care, and we want to honor that. It's a good thing. So we will meet with neighbors again. When we get to that point, we'll be able to show them exactly, hey, here's what this fence looks like. Here's where this tree will be. Here's how we're addressing this water behind your yard. Can't get there yet because we don't have engineering, but we will go through that process. Secondly, I want to distinguish Dave Sutton from David Holmes. Obviously, no association whatsoever. Mr. Sutton and his team, including Paul Greenhour, Dave Cloyd, Paul is here as well, are going to go forward with this project. We need to close with the school district. We're hoping that will occur. We're going to go ahead, if we get approval tonight, retain the services of an engineering firm. And the goal will be to obtain those required approvals, not only from the city, but a whole wide assortment of involved agencies as expeditiously as possible. If Dave had his ideal situation, his son who's attending Alfred University for construction management, along with Mr. Greenhour's son, Mr. Boyd's son, their goal would be to start a model home this summer. We're going to get that moving as soon as possible. So that's the goal in terms of that. In terms of fiscal impacts, it's important to reiterate once again, all infrastructure on this site will be privately owned and privately maintained, with one exception, the garbage removal for the single family homes. Everything else, the city will have no fiscal responsibility whatsoever. This property currently generates annual school taxes in the amount of $0. I'm not sure what the assessed value is today. It will go back on the rolls. And then obviously as the build out of this project occurs, the assessed value will increase and increase. So ultimately, I think it's clear as day, this will have a net positive fiscal impact, not only for the school, but the city and the county as well. And then finally, in terms of project financing, we're not there yet. We can't even apply for a loan until you have a project that's a little further along. But rest assured, these three individuals who've all worked very diligently throughout their own careers, successful businesses, wouldn't have gone down this path if they weren't confident they can obtain the necessary financing. They will be injecting millions of dollars of their own capital in connection with that financing. So yes, we're very confident. In fact, there is some good news. Interest rates are trending a little bit down since we started this process. And then the final thing I want to note is we really appreciate the efforts that have been made by this council as well as city staff. I had the opportunity to review the draft rezoning resolution that I believe Michael Brewer, the city attorney, wrote, but he did an excellent job. It's very thorough. Dave and I do this night in, night out at different municipalities. So thanks for all the efforts. I do want to again, rest assured, all the residents will meet with you again. When we get to that point, we'll have additional discussion. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hopkins. Any other comments on the floor? Mr. Clerk, any residents who are joining us virtually wish to address the council on the resolutions?
At this time, no.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, let's proceed.
All right, we'll take up resolution number 1. Resolve that the common council minutes from February 6, 2024 be accepted as filed.
It's sponsored by Mr. Mallon. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Fisher. Resolve that the common council minutes from February 6, 2024 be accepted and as filed. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Madam President,
Mr. Rautenstrau.
may I make a motion to waive the readings of resolutions 2 through 9?
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Rautenstrau to waive readings of resolutions 2 through 9. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Sheasley. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum. Cook.
Aye. Declare the waiving of the readings of resolutions 2 through 9. Please proceed, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution number 2.
Sponsored by Councilman Rautenstrau.
Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Fisher. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 3, sponsored by Councilman Fisher.
Do we have a second?
I'd like to take that, Mr. President.
Seconded by Mr. Rautenstrau. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 4, sponsored by the council.
And seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 5, sponsored by Council Member Sheasley.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 6,
Sponsored by
the council.
Sponsored by Mr. Sheasley.
Okay, thank you for the correction. Sponsored by Mr. Sheasley.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Fisher. Comments or questions?
If I might, I just want.
Mr. Rautenstrau?
I just want to say thanks to the residents that stepped up, Mr. Schultz and Ms. Smith, everybody else, for speaking up about it. You know, these don't meet everything that you're hoping for. I think we're at the essence of traffic and safety committee to do their best to make an effort here. And hopefully this, helps alleviate some of the problems, and hopefully we will continue to monitor it and address it if it doesn't. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Rautenstrau. Mr. Sheasley?
I'd just like to make a comment. This wasn't just done. I've talked to Mr. Schultz at great length. I've also talked to Mr. Schultz, who's a monitor at the school, and he's viewed that in the morning. Also, feedback from Officer Worthling, he viewed it. And Officer Worthling didn't see more. We can visit this again. It's not a done issue. And then, as Mr. Schultz said about a crosswalk, Mr. Romano, now we have to go, it has to be, a study has to be done, not by our engineering department, but a study would have to be done by an outside agency. Is he still there, our engineer? Oh, wait, what was an outside agency? Was there another agency that would have to do? Because it's in the middle of a street, it's not at a corner.
The problem I have philosophical across the big block crosswalks is people still don't really use, they still end up crossing everywhere. I've been to that school, I know exactly what they're talking about. What happens is people pull up wherever they can find a spot, and you literally have kids crossing in 10 different locations on that line. They don't go to a single cross. So
And it's the adults driving the car that stop right in the middle of the block. No matter what you do, being an ex-cop and as Officer Worthling said, you know, there was very little problem when he viewed it. Okay, I'm just going by what he said. Okay, that's all I have.
One of the issues to resolve.
I can't have any public comments. Mr. Schultz,
In our driveway, at the
Okay. I can't have any public comments. Mr. Sheasley, anything else?
No, I
Okay.
mean, if she's doing something, maybe it has to be straightened out with the chief and her,
Okay.
that she cannot cross. Because I don't know that legality to that. The chief would have to address that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sheasley. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 7, sponsored by Councilman Sheasley.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions?
Comment.
Mr. Fisher?
We're voting on the no stopping on the west side. As far as adding the 2-hour or any other suggestions on the east side, that can be revisited. This is not declining that. This is just saying we can keep building on this. So this is a good stepping stone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 8 by the council.
And seconded by the council. This is the resolution regarding the seeker. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum, Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 9, sponsored by the council.
And seconded by the council. Comments or questions?
Comment.
Before you do that, I'd like to make a motion to amend this resolution in the 5th paragraph, whereas we're going to strike out, there shall not be any windows on the 3rd floor of the renovated elementary school building or the 3rd floor of the proposed 3-story multifamily building on the sides of these buildings. Mr. Rua, is that correct? Okay, Mr. Hopkins,
So we're gonna leave that it says any windows on the 3rd floor of the proposed 3-story multifamily building, but we're gonna get rid of the reference to the 3rd floor of the renovated vacant elementary school. That's what we would read with the neighbors.
Mr. Rua, are you in agreement as well?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay. Okay, so we still need to make the motion to amend.
It should be amended.
Okay. So I'll make the motion to amend. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Sheasley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, you got all that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any other comments or questions? Comment, Mr. Fisher?
As far as the rezoning, when I was sitting out there in the audience versus being up here, I said, I'm not gonna rubber stamp anything. So I prepared some comments regarding what I've heard on how the city should preserve the green space, the playground, and the other things in the area. I'd like to point out that the council will decide the application to rezone that was brought forth by the applicant. The selling price of the school, that's up to the school district. They have a signed agreement with the entity to sell this property at a set price. Any questions regarding that goes to the school board. The purchasing entity has now asked us, the council, to rezone that parcel so they can move forward in their next steps. If the council does decide to rezone, the sale of the property will still be subject to a citywide referendum and will be voted on by the residents of this city. It will not be a decision by the council. As far as the rezoning application, I did not like 6 10-unit townhomes surrounding a apartment building. As Main Street was chopped up in the 2nd ward, it was called urban renewal. I thought this amounted to residential renewal. Seeing 18 single-family homes being built is in line with the current style of the neighborhood. The school had a heavy flow of traffic that included personal cars as well as school buses. The neighborhood has consistently had that flow of traffic until the school closed. The neighborhood is capable of handling that type of traffic like it did during pickup and dismissal. I personally attended the first community meeting and asked questions of the developer. One that I did put in writing is the option of selling the vacant lots to the homeowners that abut the area where they're going to build these private homes. I believe there's 4 of them. I'm going to read verbatim what the developer stated to me. We are willing to discuss with the neighbors on Wadsworth Court to make available the possible option to buy the vacant lots that abut their property. In fact, one of the residents has already approached us regarding the vacant land that abuts their property. We are also willing to consider a larger required rear yard setback for these properties. The required yard setback is 25% of the lot depth. So I took that as the developer, when I asked the question, did respond to my concerns. These proposed apartments are surrounded by homes. This is in line with the current city ordinances. The height, the occupancy, the parking, this is all governed by the city's codes and city codes and ordinances, and is subject to the city engineer and building inspector during the design and build process. The buy-in entity will have to get permits to do this type of work. They don't just hire their Uncle Joe and convert a school into apartment buildings. The processes are in place for a reason, and we all know that government moves slowly. Today's rezoning is just one piece of that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and the council will call, the clerk will call upon you.
Hey, Bill Simon, 6 Plymouth Drive, Armada. I've asked this question to the school board. I was passed over. I asked this question to the Department of Public Works. Passed over. Now that we are in the process of calling this no longer a entity called a school, when can the school signs come down? Got one sitting in my front yard. I can take it down myself. I know it's against the law, but I won't. The school signs, I was told, had to be left up because of the possibility that this could be a fall school or something of that nature. Why do we still have the school signs up, the school speed limit? It's not forced. We know it's just there because. Can we move forward and give them permission to take down the signs?
You're referencing the speed limit signs, the school zone signs? Okay, so we'll refer that to traffic and safety. Mr. Sheasley, if you could.
Bring it up.
And before the room goes any further, for the 5th or 6th sale, what's going on with the Spalding site? Do you have any development at all?
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor?
It actually has changed hands twice because of A, the cost of money, B, labor, and of course, product. So it's, we have everything from a rock climbing wall to regular construction. We have 2 companies now that have set interest. We send contracts out, and our attorney, Mike Brewer, is working as we speak, work with them, designing back and forth with the contract. We will have contracts in place, I'm hoping, by the end of March. So that's all sold. You see those pieces of wood up there, they're no good. The company who was there ate them. There's nothing we can do about that. Somebody new bought it from him. He went out of business. He ran into money problems, and he sold to another person. There were going to be commercial properties on that site. I was hoping for a rock climbing wall. It would have been fun, next to the schools, close to the Boys and Girls Club, but it unfortunately didn't happen. So we've been very diligent on these, working on these, so it's going to materialize ASAP.
All right, I see that right after this was in process a couple of weeks ago that we were gonna let out these contracts.
Right.
They removed some of that firewood, which isn't even firewood.
They did, the wood went bad, unfortunately. It did. It's their cost, but unfortunately, but the new owners coming in, they're gonna do, there's only 2 of them. So one's gonna be on the High Street side all the way down, from Hackett down towards the projects, the new $75 million project at the Town Housing Authority, and the other one is on the inside all the way down. So there's only 2 left. 2, one's an 8 and one's a 6, I believe, Mike, acre lot, and they're both going to be growing and starting. And again, it's gonna be income. We need revenue, and that's what we've been missing. So this year's gonna be a fun year. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Deb Darling, 263 Bristol Terrace. In reference to the Spalding Fiber property, when Milton Cat moved in, that's a big amount of chunk of property. Did that affect our taxes, like, significantly?
Absolutely, it did. Absolutely.
So in moving forward, you're hoping to have that whole property, and will that be a direct result that we will feel from those taxes being?
I think it's gonna be a combined effect throughout the whole city. We have so many projects that we're excited about having happen. And when they happen, we're gonna get shovels in the ground for the first time. We came out of COVID and everybody backed out. Business people such as David, thank you for your work coming forward. But you know what? We haven't had that. Now it's coming back to light again. We're welcoming it with open arms, and Mike Rue and myself are working very diligently to make this happen.
What I'm hearing from the residents of my neighborhood, they said that because, you know, that big business had moved in, we really virtually didn't hear or see any benefit to us. And now we have another project that'll be moving in and moving forward that it's been told that, you know, the tax revenue from that will help us as well. But I'd like to know what it is that it really is helping with.
Well, you did get a
Yeah.
very, very good benefit from the Milton Cat because your taxes went down below 3% during that time. Absolutely. During that time, it was about 2%. So it was 2%. So that was a great benefit, but bringing revenue in is what generates that. That's economics 101. So we're looking.
Thank you, Mrs. Darling. Any other comments on the floor? Mr. Clerk, we have a comment.
My name is Dan, Erie County. My residency is Erie County. And I come down here today to, this public speak, this is the resolution spread.
Yeah, correct.
So I come down here today to talk about the chief of police himself. And I noticed in your work session, you guys spoke about a shortage of police. And I think maybe somewhere where we need to go for, you know, the shortage of police is maybe to bring back some integrity to the police department. I, as the chief of police during Canal Fest last year, previous year, 2023, if he can name the 5 elements of the First Amendment, and he made a joke of it, saying that he lives the Constitution, he doesn't need to know it. Then in December of this year, it turns out the chief of police got sanctioned by the Attorney General for living the Constitution when he put a 15-year-old in a chokehold that he learned online. I don't know if he just lived what he sees online and decides to try MMA moves on 15-year-old children, but maybe we could get a little clarification on, as far as the Attorney General said that the chief of police should be disciplined. Is there any update on the discipline that the chief of police has taken?
No.
There's no update on that?
No, sorry, I was telling the mayor I'll answer. So currently our city attorney is working with New York State on that.
And as far as, you know, him joking about living the Constitution, clearly he doesn't know the First Amendment, because he arrested one minor and one younger for disorderly conduct for freedom of speech, which he couldn't even name the 5 elements of the First Amendment, which is a little ridiculous, but like, if you guys want police on your force and you're talking about a shortage of police, I think it's important that we bring a little integrity back, and maybe, you know, the chief of police needs to feel a little sting, so the rest of the police force gets the integrity back. And that would be my question. I don't know if the chief of police can tell us, did he live the Constitution?
So-
15-year-old in a chokehold that day?
So thank you for your time, Dan, from
Thank you.
Erie County. Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, any residents wishing to address the council?
At this
Mr.
time,
Rounds.
there's no residents, Council President, that wish to address the council.
Thank you. Mr. Rautenstrau.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to start with just with thanking Ellen Williams here for being here. Thank you for your service. It was great to honor our veterans. We appreciate what you done for us. You know, secondly, I just wanted to say thank you to all the residents that came out here. We listened to you. I've listened to you here. I've had conversations with you on Facebook and a couple of folks. You know, I just want to say that I've heard your concerns, and I've taken them into consideration. It wasn't something that's conflict. When I made this vote, my considerations for the betterment of the city, and I don't think it was our place to stop that sort of project with the zone. It was presented to us as appropriate. The developers and builders have made a lot of concessions and are looking to be good neighbors. So I thank them for being here and working with our residents. I just want to say thank you to both of you guys for being here, for expressing your voice. It takes a lot. It's good to see good to see a fact warehouse here for council meetings. We don't see that too often, so I appreciate you guys being here, not only for that, but to listen to other things that affect their city. Mr. Covert did mention something about taxes. You know, I want to comment to that as well. And I've had my concerns about taxes. I've had several folks out there that were interested. that are involved with this. And yeah, this project itself, it's not gonna be the saving grace, to our community, to our issue. We talk about a $3 million deficit. We're more saying that the budget was not up by $3 million for the past couple of years. We've got our concerns. I had my personal concerns about how we are bridging that gap and how we're paying for it. I think there's the possible thing to do is some of that's gonna come back on our residents, there's 6,000 this year. But to what the mayor was talking about as well. It's not all, there are projects in the book, there is fall happening. With the new grant, you're gonna see some more interest in our city, more development. That's kind of made to see where we can move. What I don't want to see is that stall and to be us be seen as a friendly business, unfriendly to development in our city, because we're a small landlocked city where it's nuclear. Over my time in the council, I've seen the arguments and the concerns over the Tim Hortons investment project that went up over there. Concerns over the traffic with the apartments on East Niagara Street with Pollock's Place, the old Christian school, with the apartments at Parkview. There's been a lot of developments in our city. A lot of those concerns were addressed with developers and have done well in our neighborhood. It's never easy, but we do need to find some compromises to find a way to get to a point where recurring expenses are being covered by recurring revenue. And that's been the whole point that we're trying to do here. And I think we're gonna get there. I think that there's been a delay. Some of that was COVID, some of that were people dragging their feet on development. I think we are heading in the right direction. And some of those taxes that we talked about are bridging the gap and reach a plateau of when we get to that point. We're talking about continually taking money out of a reserve fund, depleting it when we need to kind of point out a little bit of that. So it resets at that point. We continue to take it out of there, increase the budget. We're looking at continually finding a source for that. So the tax piece of that is going to be, it's going to be an important piece. It's not going to be present. We're not going to be happy about it, but I think that one-time adjustment, bridging that gap will help us reach that plateau where things will stay stable. So I just wanted to clarify some of that stuff that doing talk. So okay.
There's no comment, sorry. Public comment period's over.
I guess that being said, I've said it in all the posts, our council people are here, the webpage is on the City of Tonawanda. Our information is available. Please, if you have questions, reach out to any of us to talk to you, to at least inform you of what's going on. We're limited in news, press. A lot of the information is on Facebook, and Mr. Fisher even said that last week. And just to reiterate, some of the people here aren't on certain pages. Some of us get tagged for whatever reason, or wherever people's political natures. These are all private Facebook pages. It's a great source of talking to each other, but it's also a great source of spreading misinformation. So there's something to be said about our butcher and getting the opinion of the butcher and getting it straight from his mouth rather than going the hard way. Please take advantage of that. Take advantage of us that are available, accessible, and
Seeing Mr. Rautenstrau, Mr. Mylum.
Keeping comments brief. We do want to thank the residents for coming and speaking their mind. However, this process was started years ago when we voted to sell the schools. This was all part of that selling the schools consolidations. We're at the next step now. It's not that I didn't hear the residents. There are many other residents who love this tax benefit and would love this opportunity to purchase a new home, potentially sell their home and move into a beautiful apartment building. So I do believe everything that Mr. Rautenstrau said, that this is a good thing for our city. I would also like to say thank you to Mr. Williams for his 2 tours of duty. The thing that stuck out to me on our agenda here was 2 tours of duty in an imminent danger area like Iraq. That's an incredible thing to do for people you don't know. So I'd like to thank him for his service. That being said, I'll turn it back over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Mr. Sheasley.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Williams for the service, being a veteran myself. Mr. Fisher is, it's a brotherhood. Also, the comments from the residents have never been taken lightly. I was at the last one, been here with the council, but I was at the grade school when the last meeting with the developers there and listened to the concerns. I know and look at it, I'm from the first ward. I know you say because you don't care. Well, I do care. I grew up in the city, it's very good. I think there's greener pastures coming down. It's just gonna take us time to get there. I know it's very hard being across, and I've said it before, I lived across from the Dome Stadium for 26 years. You wanna talk about noise and problems? I lived there and I was on the job. Also with the new school with the park, we went over that. I mean, we can reopen those things. This is a closed door. Like, it's not a closed door. We'll look at it again. That's a decision, a lot of talk, a lot of discussion with Mr. Schultz, the other Mr. Schultz. But trying to make the best decisions for this community. It's a great community. I just moved back. You know, I'm a Red Warrior, guys. Don't tell anybody. But no, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Sheasley. Mr. Fisher.
I'd like to begin by thanking Alan Williams for his service, true American hero. The Chris Fisher Gives Back campaign, where I get $50 of my paycheck every council meeting to someone. This week it's Katie Casada from Styles Unique on Main Street. What I will say she donated was her time, her talent, and her treasure. The city, Twin City Homeless Outreach reached out to her and she provided haircuts for the homeless. And after she did it, she not only did not charge them, she went above and beyond. I think one lady wanted to get her hair colored and made a comment to the effect, I have no money. And Katie said, I'm not charging you. So I talked to Katie. She said she doesn't need the money. I said, do two things. Either take your husband out to dinner or, you know, pay it forward, use the money to buy some equipment if you're going to keep doing this. She's very excited to volunteer at the Twin City Homeless Outreach. I was proud to be a sponsor of the firefighter radios. I know they still have to apply for the AFG grant, which is the Assistant to Firefighters Grant, but this was the first step in the process. So Chief McNulty is going to do a good job getting that grant sized up. And I'd like to congratulate the two firefighters on their promotions. We have Assistant Chief Josh Lapham. Am I saying that right? Lapham? Lapham. And Captain Jason Malley, both promoted recently. So congratulations to them.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. Dave Sutton, thank you for coming in. There's just one thing that I look at is if we didn't pass the zoning from an R1 to an R2, we would be labeled as a non-business friendly city. And we would have a heck of a time to try to get people to come in and do business if we can't even open up an area up there for commercial. And it's unfortunate, but it's a fact of doing business. And I really, I enjoyed the input. I think it was fantastic. The process that we went through. John, thank you for doing it. I think it was very professional. And thank you for the David Sutton for the empathy you had for these homeowners and things you've changed. You're not going to make money as fast, but you changed to make things fit. And it wasn't easy. And I thank you for that. I also want to say my prayers go out to Dave Zorn. He was a former employee, longtime employee of the city of Tonawanda who passed last week. And my heart and my thought and prayers go out to him and his family. Also that Recycling and Electronics event is May 4th up at the Tonawanda High School. And we also have the Variety Club Telethon, 62nd year. In fact, we have one of our chairmen here. Thank you, Bill. That's for the kids telethon. It's March 9th and March 10th. And congrats to Anna McNeil for being our new treasurer. Congratulations on that. And somebody brought up, Chris brought up the Twin City Homeless, and I just want to say they did a heck of a job during the cold temperatures. They made a room. We set up 4 beds. The Twin City is the Tonawanda, North Tonawanda, and we have a group of probably 25 to 30 people put together by myself, Jenna Cook, and Austin Tyler of North Tonawanda, and Carmen, who runs it for us. It's just a very committed group to people who have unfortunate situations. They're veterans, some of them. They have a disease, some of them. And some want to be helped, some don't want to be helped. But it's a very important thing. We give them a place to stay. And Chief, in the back, McNulty, I want to say thank you for letting us use a place, a building locally for that to happen. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. I too would like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. It's great to see such wonderful attendance for our council meeting. If you didn't hear during our 6 o'clock session, there is a survey route out right now regarding Kohler Pool. So there's a link. We will have those cards at the library, the Senior Citizen Center. We will post it on social media as well as those cards here, but please spend a few minutes and participate in that survey. Your opinion matters. I know the public, wanted to speak on the rezoning. I do appreciate your feedback. As we go through this process, I would encourage you to reach out to Councilmember Mylum, Mayor White, or myself if there are concerns, so we can work directly with the developer and the attorney. Regarding the parking on Gibson, we will certainly continue to evaluate that situation. And in the event that we need to tweak our ordinance, we will certainly do so, okay? With that said, the Common Council will be meeting in the back, and I want to thank everybody for coming this evening. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm going to exec.
I have one small thing.
Oh, I didn't know.
Is she related to Jessica's house? Her husband. He's had his nephew.
Oh.
You said that, it's okay.
Well, you know what?
No, I know.
So, Wendy, I go talk to Wendy and I said, who is this lady that cut the hair?
Yeah.
And she says, the lady.